Alright guys, well happy Sunday to you. As you can see, we have some snow on the ground here. We had about an inch, probably about an inch of snow. It was warmer today, so some of it melted. Like I said, it is Sunday, and today's video I wanted to do the harvest wrap-up video, kind of a year in review. So I want to talk about what kind of a year it was for us here in the Northeast. I want to give you some yields, what we were able to do this year on the farm. Kind of go over a few things as far as what 2017 was like here in the Northeast for my operation here. And touch on some things with YouTube and some issues I've been having again. So, like I say, I won't try to make a long-winded video. Just kind of give you an overview and a rundown of what it was like this year farming in the Northeast and what we were able to do. So, like I said, going back to the spring, early spring in March, we got hit with a massive nor'easter snowstorm, and it had dumped probably, I think it was like 27 inches of snow that we got in March. And it was a pretty good snow, and it came pretty quick. I mean, that was over the course of maybe a day and a half, maybe at the most. So that's kind of what spring was for a lot of guys. A lot of guys that were getting spring fever and getting ready to go out and start doing the field work. Winter hit us with a dose of reality there in March. It was a very mild winter. The end of 2017 and end of 2016 and beginning of 2017 was very mild. It was very warm. Didn't get a whole lot of snow, and going on into the spring, we were actually a little bit dry. We didn't have an excess of moisture by any means, and I think we started out the year on the drought monitor that we were in a dry area. Even with the 27 inches of snow, we were still a little dry to start the year. This was the first year that I am farming this place here, and like I said, one of my biggest challenges this spring was the previous farmer that was here had left his crops out in the fall and never got them harvested. So even through that snowstorm of 27 inches of snow, there was still corn and beans out. It was the end of April until he got the crops harvested finally. Even though my lease had started, he was able to get out of here just in the nick of time. I took soil samples earlier in the spring. This was before YouTube, and it was kind of a pain because, well, I actually took the soil samples in February, and I remember it clear as day because that February day it was 72 degrees, and it was hot for February. Like I say, it was a very warm winter for us. Took soil samples, got them shipped off to the lab. Wasn't the easiest job taking soil samples with still standing rows of corn, having to walk between the rows, and I used Google Maps actually a lot to figure out where exactly I was in the field, walking through rows of corn that were never harvested. So it was really a crunch for me to get things done this spring with getting such a late start till all the crops were off. I came in and tried to do a spring burn down, try to get it on as quick as possible. That was one of the first things I did here, was take care of some of these winter weeds that were left over. And I made the mistake of relying too much on Roundup. Roundup had worked very well over at the other farm, because that farm didn't have a lot of years of any type of herbicide. It really didn't have much spray put down on it at all. Like I say, it was a hay farm. Couple of pints of 2,4-D a year, and that was it. So Roundup worked very well over at the other farm, and really was one of the only herbicides you needed. Now this farm had a lot more history, a lot harsher chemicals, and when I sprayed a lot of the fields with Roundup in the spring to kill off the weeds, mare's tail, it basically fertilized it. The center stalk would die, and then 2 more stalks would shoot off, and then I ended up having twice as much. So that was my first challenge this spring with 2017, was getting the weeds killed. I went to my spray dealer. I told him kind of the issues I was having, some of the problems I was having, and he had recommended a few different products, and I basically sprayed, and within 2-3 days the guy came to plant. This year, I didn't do any of my own planting because I was trying something new. And for you guys that have been watching me for a while, I know it sounds like I repeat a lot of the information throughout the year. As you get a bunch more subscribers, I kind of repeat myself just so everybody's up on the same page. But years past, I was a conventional, did everything conventional with tillage, and everything was tilled and planted the conventional way. Like I said, I had a 7,000 John Deere corn planter at one point, and I decided I want to try no-till on this property because of the amount of erosion. So I sprayed, he came to plant. The weeds weren't even dead by the time the planting was done. Ooh, excuse me, just ate supper. The weeds were still green. We planted through green weeds, and it wasn't an ideal start to spring, but it was all I could do to just get things rolling this spring. And again, this was all before I started YouTube this year. So we got got everything planted, finally got the weeds under control. The next, I started making hay, and that was around the time when I had decided to join YouTube. I joined YouTube for several reasons, and I want to get into that in another video. I guess the very first thing that prompted me to get on YouTube was I was watching Jake Ziegler mow hay with his Oliver Haybine, and in the comments I left him a comment that I had done the same exact thing today, and I had a video clip. I said, I wish YouTube would allow you to share a video clip in the comments, and Jake said, well, why don't you just put it on YouTube? And that night I decided, let's start a YouTube channel and see what happens. So that's kind of where I got the start. I had a couple other reasons why I was interested in doing this, but anyway, that's another video, another day. Second thing I started doing was top dressing the hay fields. I wanted to get nitrogen on the hay fields because previous farmers didn't do that because hay wasn't really their main focus. They were row crop in the land. They had to keep the hay strips there for erosion control, and the hay was always secondary for the past farmers. I wanted to get some nitrogen on. That's where my first bit of bad luck started. I had gotten a flat tire when I was trying to top dress. The sprayer that I had bought just this year, I had a lot of issues with in the spring trying to get it going. I think it froze is what happened. A lot of the fittings were leaking. I had to change. This spring it was really crunch time to try to get everything together and get everything ready to go. But like I say, we finally got things situated, and then the rain started. And if you watch my channel, you have probably heard me complain about the rain this year. It's not a good idea to complain about rain, but where we're sitting now, December 10th, I think we're at like 46 inches of total rainfall since January 1st, which is, at this point, we're kind of leveling off to the average, but over the summer, we were well above the average for, it didn't dry off till harvest, but we were well above the average. And it wasn't just tiny little showers all the time that would ruin your day trying to make hay. These were, every other day we would get an inch of rain. And it just was hard this year to try to get some hay made. It really was. A lot of other channels, some of you guys probably have heard other channels here in the Northeast making hay, and you can probably see what kind of year it's been. It's kind of the same weather pattern. Usually in the fall we do have a lot of rain due to the hurricanes. We're not immune to it. Like I say, we're on the outer bands usually where the rain is. This year for harvest, it really wasn't an issue. It wasn't a very hot summer, but we did have pretty many sunny days. We had a couple days that were in the mid-90s, but we didn't have any oppressive 100, 110, 120 degree heat. Not in Pennsylvania. We have had that in the past. Years past, we definitely had some summers where it was up into the hundreds, but this year it was fairly a mild summer. Like I say, a mild winter and a mild summer. really, I shouldn't have any complaints because the weather this year was corn growing weather. The weather we had was ideal for corn. I mean, it was just absolutely perfect with an inch of rain every other day or every 2 days, warm days, sunny days, mixed in between. I don't think I could have asked for a better year as far as the row crops. Now, hay, that's a different story. That's it's kind of tough sometimes, but so yields. Like I said, this video is getting long already. Yields. All the trucks are weighed. Like I said, they're all weighed on a scale. I know the acreages from the corn planter when we planted everything. I got the initial acreages from the farm off of farm logs. When we did the planting out in the field with the custom custom planting I had done, the monitor told me the acreages. So I have very accurate numbers to come up with a yield. So just so you guys don't think I'm trying to lie about yields. It's one of the biggest biggest lies sometimes. But anyway, corn, we did 158 bushels to the acre, which isn't, in my mind, it's fine. It's not great. I want to do better for next year. A lot of that, like I say, has to do with the soil erosion here and getting the ground back in shape. Like I said, soil tests. When I did my soil tests, past farmers, I guess, were a little stingy on the fertilizer, and that's okay. You're going to have that with different operators. But with the rain we had, I think that really kind of saved the yield. I don't think I would have had 158 bushels to the acre with a drier year. So I just kind of got lucky, I guess. We have a plan for next year. We have a better herbicide plan. We have a better fertilizer plan. And I'm still going to try for that 200. I did break 200 bushel, actually, in this field out here. This field here, and a lot of guys couldn't believe me when I said this. This field here, we got 1,100 bushel off of 4.5 acres. You can do the math there. It is over 200 bushel. And the reason for that, this was a pasture. It was old sod for many years. It's bottomland, so the soil is different. It's not eroded. And in addition to being bottomland, it's very well watered and there's a lot of moisture there for the crop. But also to its advantage, it has drain tile underneath. So any excess, it doesn't drown out the corn. That field did wonderful. I'm going to go corn on corn with that again next year, and try to even push more out of it. But I did break 200 in one field. I was very happy with that. That really helped out. So soybeans weren't as good. We did 43 bushel to the acre, and my biggest problem there, I think, was weeds and deer. Definitely deer were a huge impact on the soybeans this year. They ate off quite a bit. Like I say, you don't have damage when you go up and there's 20 deer standing in the soybeans. It's impossible not to have any damage. I was hoping for more. The weeds really took their toll. I was fighting weeds in the soybeans all year, trying to switch herbicides and trying to come up with something. With all the rain, I think the residual herbicide broke down, a lot of it. There wasn't much left. And the weeds didn't really start poking up until it was canopied, and it was just the survivors that didn't make it. So going on into winter here now, we're looking at longer range forecasts, and it looks pretty mild for us so far. So I don't know what kind of weather pattern we're in, but like I say, it was definitely a warm winter last year, and it was definitely a pretty average summer with high rainfall amounts. So like I said, guys, no complaints on the weather for growing grain. So yeah, that's where we're at. One quick thing before I go, I'm still having problems with YouTube demonetizing my videos. It's not just once in a while, it's every single video. What happens is I'll post a video, I'll monetize it, you guys will watch it the next day, it's demonetized, and any ads that you guys had watched, the income was stripped away and it was back to zero. So it's definitely an issue. It's not one video, it's every single video. I reached out to their YouTube creators' email. I kind of got a blanket statement reply. It wasn't very clear. It was kind of just make sure you're following the community guidelines. And as you guys know, there's no issues there. So what I'm trying to do now with some of the videos, I'll put them up for a while and then I'll switch it over to private when it's demonetized, and then when it goes through their system and is finally remonetized, I'll put it back to public. I don't know if that's going to work, but it's kind of driving me nuts. I mean, it's nothing to ask for a review every day, but it's just, there's something wrong with their system, and it's kind of agitating, but we're not going to stop or get discouraged. So thanks for watching, guys, and welcome to any new subscribers, and I'll keep you posted. Like I said, videos up daily pretty well. And I try to make each one a little bit different. So thanks for watching, guys.